Info Reality, the channel that covers reality TV from a mental health perspective. As you can see by my title, I was doing some thinking, and I was thinking about life, and how I think life is a big game of Big Brother. Life is a reality TV show. People wonder how I could have empathy, right, for a reality TV star. And one might think that it's just because I'm an empathetic person. That's part of it. Some people are empathetic. Some people are empathetic, and some people are not. So I do have more empathy than the average person, I would say, right? However, however, right? Um, I always compare everything that I watch, especially when it's to a degree real life things. I always compare that to my life so that I can relate to the thing that I'm watching. So I do it in sports when people are having contract negotiations and contract disputes and stuff like that. And people watch and then they're like, "Who cares?" Hi, ma. People are like, "Who cares? They make millions of dollars." Yeah, who cares? I mean, I don't really care whether somebody gets a $100 million contract or $120 million contract. These are numbers that I'm probably never going to see in life. So I don't care from that standpoint, but I also understand just from a life standpoint because I've been at a lot of jobs. Nobody is ever going to feel like their job pays them enough, and if they do, they're probably just not ambitious enough to want more for themselves. So I think about my own job situations, many of them, many of them, where I've been like, I'm worth this much, and the company's like, no, you're not. And then I'm like, well, I can take my skills, I can take my skills elsewhere because at the end of the day, it's my skills and my talents that got me into this spot. I'm offering y'all something that generates large amounts of money for you. Like, if a company is paying you, I don't know if anyone has ever thought of this, but if a company is paying you, even if you are getting paid something that you think is very little, like the company gives you $30,000 a year, right? Even to give you that 30,000 plus the benefits, plus the life insurance, plus the health insurance coverage, and the vacation time, all the stuff that you have to invest into getting an employee, you're probably making them 10 times that much. You might be surprised at how much your input in that company actually impacts their bottom line, right? So when I say that my life is like a reality show, I am the JONY. Um, yeah, when I say life is like a reality show, right? I just started at a new company at the beginning of this year. I started at that company March, March of 2020, March of 2025. I started at the company last year. Sheesh, I keep saying this year. It's 2026. I started at the company March of 2025, which is almost a year ago now. And when I started at the company, right, you have no choice of who's there. Something you just get random selection. So I consider it like, okay, 16, 15, 16 other people. They're random, and if you're like me, you know that 90% of them you are not gonna like. And I don't usually admit to that, but it's like if you were to go into my work environment and ask who's my friend in there, a good amount of people would probably be like, "Oh yeah, we're friends." How to know if you twisted or sprained your ankle? Because my left ankle is in pain. Um, how long has it been in pain for, and what kind of pain is it? I could probably answer that more on Discord. But anyways, yeah. So 90% of the people I'm not gonna like. Same thing like if I was in a Big Brother house, a Real World house, a Survivor Island. You know what I mean? Me personally, I just know that in general, at least 90% of people that I meet anywhere, I don't like. At least, minimum, and that's being generous. To say that I like 10% of the people that I meet is generous. It's more like a category of I can the 10% is like a combination of like plus tolerate. I can tolerate 10% of people that I meet, and I like probably 1 or 2%, 1%. I would say 1%. Yeah, I would say as little as 1%. 1% of the people that I meet, I like, and that's probably as accurate as I can be. So when people get into these environments and they are not able to leave, they're not able to get space. Because I'm a person who, if I have a problem with somebody and that person is stressing me out, making me angry, whatever it is, and I don't have the ability to be like, let me exit this place, I would go nuts. Because being able to leave a tense, highly stressful situation is a coping mechanism for me, especially as somebody who has like, I guess I shouldn't call it severe now, but who has lived through a very severe agoraphobia. Hi, Marina. Ouch. I mean, do you not have Medicaid, Ma? Medicaid would cover you. Um, yeah, the healthcare system is rough because I'm sitting here and I have a job that gives me some kind of medical coverage, but because I couldn't, there's only two options at my job in terms of medical coverage, and with my salary, it's not feasible for me to pay for the higher option, which I think takes something like 600 a month out of your salary, which is pretty much just like straight up paying for your insurance. Who has money to spend $600 a month on their health insurance? I would have. Yeah, I was gonna make a sarcastic joke, but I just recalibrated because that was one of those "this is not for the internet" type of jokes that go through my head sometimes. But anyways, let's just say it's just not fair. It's just not fair, and it's like every day that you go in to work, you're using all your resources, your time, you're using your brain. For what? So yeah, I have some empathy for those people. I always think to myself, and then when we watch an edited show, I always think to myself, what caused this? What was the build up that caused this big argument? What was said to get it to this point? Was it just the person was being an a-hole, or was it provoked? Did somebody say something, or is it like little things that we don't see within the house? Because as an example, this guy who doesn't like me at work, I'm gonna stop using descriptors just in case. But Just say a person who doesn't like me at work clearly does not like me at work. If you were to just watch this guy on the outside looking in, and I'm telling you he's doing this and he's doing that, you're gonna look at me because you're gonna look at him and be like, why would he do that? Or I don't think he's doing that based on what you see. Based on what you see, you know, you wouldn't think that he's doing these little things, but he does these little things to poke me throughout the day. So everybody who knows me knows that I am not a person who's just like quick to anger or anything like that. I'm a person who it takes me a while to just get really mad or explode on somebody or just say something crazy to somebody. I'm not that type of guy. I'm very patient. I've always been that way. Even if inside I don't feel patient, people have let me know that they wish that they were as patient as me. So I don't impulsively act on everything that I think in my head. Thankfully, I mean nobody does, but some people are much closer to that point at all times than I ever am. So that is what it is. But if you do see me get to a point where I'm really upset, right? I'm really, really upset at someone, and I outwardly just have a reaction to them. Or if it's somebody who, when they get around me, you see me that I'm really, really irritable or irritated with them being around me, it's because they've done something special. They've done something special to get on my bad side. And that's one of them, because sometimes people see the way that I react to that particular person and they're like, why are you reacting that way? Why are you acting that way? Why is he that triggering to you? Because you don't see all the stuff that he does to trigger me. You just see, as you'll see one conversation and one comment as a standalone comment. You might look at that comment and say, that wasn't even that bad. Just let that roll off your shoulders, right? But really, it's not one comment. It's like there was so many different comments before that one comment that got me upset. What up, Sale and Pepper Beard? Okay, well, thanks for that block, Ma. And congratulations, Denny, for your first and last comment on Mindful Reality. I hope that comment was worth it. Oh, I forgot. Thank you for boosting me up on the algorithm. I appreciate you very much. I've said this before, my regulars know this. There used to be a time where these either bot or troll comments would really, really get to me. But at this point in time, 1 second, I went way past my destination, unfortunately. I went way past my destination. That sucks. One thing is when I get on here, because the GPS sound actually plays for you guys apparently, so you hear my GPS while you're watching. So I turn the volume down, but then sometimes I don't hear where I'm going. So I'm gonna have to jump off, but thank you for joining me. I might jump on here later. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Traders. I think the Traders is airing tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is Thursday. Sheesh. If y'all have Peacock, head on Peacock tomorrow. And catch the first few episodes, however many are releasing. They usually do, I think, 3 at a time or something like that. But whatever it is, whatever the case may be, I am going to be recapping. I can't wait for that. And I'm considering going to the premiere party. Considering going to. All right, so please make sure